Good morning and welcome to the Media Speaks Live Saturday morning news show. I'm D. Lake for Prez, David Lake. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm joined this morning by Kyle Phillips, KP, Nose Hair 515. Kyle, how's it going?
Pretty good. Awesome to be here, D-Lake.
Sweet. Glad you're on, man. We're also joined by Sam, IB DeGangi, Sam of the Correct Views, and the band Passing Time, Samuel.
Greetings, unsettled soul, and welcome to the Saturday edition. I am excited about today's show.
Yeah, Sam, I'm really excited too because we are joined by a super special guest, puppet master, puppeteer extraordinaire, Chris Chappell. Chris, how's it going?
There you go.
The master of puppet.
Yeah, look at those puppets back there.
I like the
Who's back
plunger.
there?
I like the plunger, mainly because many people do not know this, but my mic stand broke on the Correct Views, which is the show I have, Chris, and I use a lampshade as a mic stand, and you are using a plunger as a puppet prop. We are cut from the same cloth, my friend. It is good to meet you.
Yeah, Chris, and who's on that plunger stand back there? We got Bud and Nuggets.
Good. Yeah.
Nugget and Bud.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it is a
How about
plum.
those puppets back
I do you find yourself in a lot of positions where you're like going into like a Michaels or a Joann Fabrics and like the old lady behind the counter is like, "Oh, are you getting some for your mom?" You're like, "No, I'm making some badass puppets," and they're like, real like just like old ladies weirded out. Like, you're doing what with all this?
Yeah. I remember when
Yeah, is that what happens? Hey, I'm set up to play some of Chris's one of his latest videos. Just came out the other day. The Green Report with Bud and Nugs here. Here we go.
By Granville here with Nugget.
Hey, everybody.
And this is the Green Report.
Sweet graphics. You do all that?
a friend of mine did the opening
That's cool, man. It's good.
graphics for me.
When you do video and stuff, like that's like the first type of shit that you think, because that was the first thing I thought too. Is like, I wonder if he made that himself.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just what you do.
I wish I could do stuff like that. I need to learn how.
Well, I mean,
Well, I think you can have other people do that because those people can't make puppets. Stick to puppets. Make awesome puppets. Don't like you can either make awesome puppets or you can make mediocre puppets and mediocre intros. Like just have somebody else make awesome intros. You make the awesome puppets.
yeah. I don't think Jim Henson did all his own, like graphical intros. But here,
No,
let
Bill
me play a
Henson. Probably.
Hey guys, welcome to the
Yeah.
show. Earlier this month, a few packages of cannabis washed ashore on North Carolina and Alabama beaches. Estimated value was about $1,600 to $2,000. Wow, that's a lot of weed. Anyway.
Okay, so some good comedy with these guys. How come they both kind of sound a little bit like you there, Chris, or what?
Yeah, they're both me. I puppeteer them at the same time. Got one hand up in Nugget and one hand in Bud. That's why Bud's hands are always crossed because I can't do anything with them.
Do you ever have to do like a really long video and like your face itches?
I don't know. I try to split it up. I'll have like the first part written out, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll reset and do the second page, and then that's why you see like in the video I'll have a T-shirt commercial for a T-shirt, or I'll have just a little marijuana leaf spin around. Just
What
kinda break
what
it
do you
that way I'm not-
what do you make them out of?
As I was gonna say, I got this is Nugget. He's basically it's green sheet foam that you buy at like Joann. You can see
Wow.
up in here.
That's
kind of a
sweet, dude.
lime green color. But yeah, his head's made out of that, and then I wrapped him with about 3 or 4 green feather boas. So yeah.
That's awesome. And the other
uh,
guy,
well,
the other guy looks a little bit like Kermit the Frog. And in this latest video, I just played past the part where is Kermit okay? For those of you that don't know, and I'm sure Chris is up to date on anything happening with the Muppets. I mean, and Chris, isn't it right that they have a new show coming out on TV, one of the channels, and isn't Kermit the Frog all, oh yeah, what's up? We're just staying cool because it's legal now or something like
yeah.
that. It's so funny, right? I mean, was that a weed reference on the Muppets? You think?
It looks like it.
Yeah, sure does.
I've heard that the new show is going to be more geared toward adults, and it's like it looks like they took the premise from The Office and just replaced people with the Muppets. So it's
The Muppets has always been a weird one where it's like, because they were on like, what channel was like the Muppet Show on? It was on like an adult channel. Like it wasn't really geared at kids, like the show.
They had
but
3,
then,
5, and 8 back then. That was pretty much the only channels that they had. I do remember that, and the Muppets were a really big deal. Peter Sellers, who I think was the funniest man that ever lived, he did a very famous piece when he was on it.
Right, and like Elton John's, Steve Martin, there was a bunch of people back in the day that were on the Muppet Show.
But then
it was
all the
kind of
movies
an adult
are super
variety
kids.
show, right? An adult variety show, maybe not a late night show, but back in the day, late night was at 8 o'clock.
It was aimed at adults, though. I don't think the original show was really aimed at kids. But then the movies are really, really aimed at kids, and then the Muppet Babies.
Yeah, Muppet.
And then if they came back adult, I don't know, like, it's kind of weird. Like, do you let your kids watch the Muppets? Like,
I bought my kids the whole Muppet DVD pack. I mean, do you think the Muppets are good for kids, Chris? You got a different opinion?
I think the older Muppets, the older Muppet movies when Jim Henson was doing them, they were, it was a mix of adult and kids. But like the two movies that have come out now,
it wasn't inappropriate.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like adult like porn.
No.
I'm sure if you can find Homer Simpson porno, I'm sure there's Fozzie Bear porno out there somewhere. But I mean, if that's what you're into,
I'm not even gonna Google it.
Today's show is titled super special guest Chris Chappell talking about pot, puppets, and politics. We've been talking a lot about puppets. Let's talk a little bit about pot. I mean, your puppets back there are named Bud and Nuggets, and does that have anything to do with marijuana?
Yeah.
And you have a show called The Green Report with a bunch of
back to my question about like going to Joann Fabrics or Michaels. Like sometimes the only way to figure out exactly what you need is to like bring what you're working on. If you ever walked in and talked to like some like old lady at Joann's and like I need like some sort of something for right here, and she's like, Is that a giant weed? Did you just bring a giant weed to me?
I usually don't carry my stuff to the store with me. I just kind of walk around and eyeball.
Well, because I had once, I went to Ace Hardware because back in the day when I was much, much younger, I had a hitter box, if anyone here is familiar with that. And on a hitter box, when they get old, the screw sometimes gets like loose and it like slowly etches out until it just pops out. So I need a bigger screw that was thicker to like replace it. I went to Ace Hardware and I'm trying to explain to this guy, I'm like, yeah, like the rivets are just kind of worn. I need a bigger screw, and it was like an older guy, and I was like, fuck it, look, and I just pulled out my hitter box and he looked at it, he's like, oh, okay, and he got me the perfect screw. You never know.
Do you think that the originally with the marijuana laws, they had said that it was going to increase, how do I want to word this? I should say it was the relaxing of marijuana laws. They had said that you were going to see this mass increase in all these terrible things that were going to happen, and it was going to destroy neighborhoods and destroy morale. I live in Ohio, and I have an interesting story, and I'd like Chris's opinion on this too. I was bowling last night, and they've got gambling machines in it that you almost never see anybody at. Maybe I've seen like a guy there, but we go like twice a week. There is never anybody gambling there. If I go to the bathroom, I always mean to put $1 in, and then never get around to it because we go so late that we usually close the alley because of
Are you
my
talking about
hours.
like Keno?
I mean, there's like gambling machines. There's the 3 in a row, and like any gambling machine you'd find anywhere.
Okay.
I remember when they became legal, about 4 or 5, maybe longer than that now, years ago. Oh, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible. We got these little places that cropped up all over the city. Nobody ever goes to it one. I tried to go to one, and they told me you had to be a member, so I just never went back. And then one was beside a restaurant that I went to once. It has had no effect. If anything, it's been somewhat of a flop. People are not gambling their houses away. There's no more homeless people than there were before. Do you think marijuana is going to be the same thing? That once it finally gets legal, it's going to be the great big anticlimactic moment of our time? And I don't mean for the people that are being let out or not arrested. I mean in terms of the analogy I gave to the gambling.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I don't think-
gambling, it just reminded me of bingo, but go ahead, Chris. What do you think?
I mean, you've pretty much already seen it in Colorado. It's
Yeah.
it's had the opposite effect.
DUIs have gone down.
Oh, yeah.
Tax revenue's
Crime's
way the
going
fuck up. Yeah, crime's down. Like everything's just way awesomer. A lot more flowers. A lot more open mic nights at coffee bars. You know,
Everything's a little more green.
everything's just a little. The grass, it actually turns out is greener on that other side.
Hmm.
Been wonderful. Well, they just passed recently too, and like I don't know, I've just heard a little bit about it, but Illinois apparently is passing something where it's like under 30 grams, I think, is just like a ticket, not a big deal. It's a step in the right direction.
Well, I have a story I want to get to, but I'm going to wait until D-Lake is done with his report because, Kyle, you may know this. Have you D-Lake's watched them, my April Fool's shows? I have Buddy Puff in the house today, and I want to make sure he does the report later. I'm gonna let him take it.
I want Buddy Puff to do it. Did you guys hear about the 82-year-old arrested for slashing tires over bingo?
Yeah.
You guys saw this? He was caught on camera.
Dude, it's a game of luck. Whose tires did he slash over the bingo? Like, it's total chance.
He slashed a 88-year-old Ethel Britt's van, the tires on her van, during a weekly bingo game at the Lake Ashton Retirement Community Clubhouse because Ethel was sitting in Fred's seat.
Ethel and Fred, aren't those like
his
the
favorite
neighbors in the
he had a
honeymooners?
He had a favorite seat at the bingo. He knew what her car was, and he went and I believe in this video that I have on my screen share.
Wait, Ethel
beyond all the
and
damn
Fred were
commercials.
the neighbors on I Love Lucy, weren't they?
Yeah, Fred Smith was charged with criminal mischief last Monday when police said he took an ice pick to 88-year-old Ethel Britt's tires. Anyways, did you guys see yesterday, and I did a special report live last night, about the hundreds of people expected for Muhammad cartoon contest when a guy who's a former Marine waves a giant
Steve Grant.
American flag and wears a shirt that says "Fuck Islam." There he is. Now he's receiving death threats. The title of my video
I heard
last
about this
night
guy.
at the Draw Muhammad rally was there was no blood or gunfire yet. But he's still being threatened.
Have you heard any of the interviews with this guy, though?
I mean, he went on CNN with Anderson Blooper, and I mean, is the guy a provocateur, Kyle, or how do you feel? And Chris,
I don't
what
know.
do you
I heard
think?
one interview with him where he just kind of said he's like, "Look, I think saying fuck Islam is really stupid. I think it's immature. Like, I don't think we should be doing this." But like,
I do
it's
it, and all the pictures that you see are me doing it.
But he like the way he pretty much put it was that he's doing it to prove the point. Like, you shouldn't do that towards anybody. You shouldn't be like, fuck puppet makers, or like, why would you say to
Oh, yeah,
anybody?
you
But he's
should be.
proving the point. If you said fuck puppet makers, like Chris Chappell isn't gonna shoot you. And like that's
Well,
the
if you
point that
said
he's
puppet
making.
master, what if you said puppet masters though, and implied that he was some kind of master? I mean, is he a
So
master of
like
his craft,
almost
or
kind
am
of
I like
giving
his
props.
slave now? I'm like a puppet slave because he's the puppet master. We always talk about the president being a puppet. Who's controlling him? It's Chris Chappell.
On the
And again, I think we've mentioned this on the show before too. For some reason, it seems like it's okay to do it to every religion but Islam. And I'm
Yeah.
a Christian, but I'm also a libertarian. So I don't try to ban deicide, but I'm well aware that they're out there playing. It doesn't bother me a bit. If they were at a show that I wanted to see another band at, I'd sit and watch it, whatever. But when you do this to Islam, it's this amazing, earth-shattering moment when they must flock in droves. And I think there's even some people that are Islamic themselves that are probably this side of the religion is what worries even them.
You know who you don't have like you have to worry the least about coming and shooting somebody if you had like a fuck marijuana rally or something. Like they would show up, but they would do something funny. You would not have to worry about that situation. Nobody's
saw-
bringing a bomb when you say fuck marijuana.
I saw on
Nope.
the Drudge Report this morning that the guy that organized that thing is going into hiding.
Yeah, that's right. He's going into hiding, and he says now he has to move and move his whole family. Ritzheimer planned the protest billed as freedom of speech rally in response to an ISIS-inspired attack outside a controversial Prophet Muhammad cartoon contest May 3rd in Texas. That was in Garland, Texas, a report that we had previously covered. So it's like, I mean, this guy, it's very incendiary, in my opinion. I'm having to sell my house now. My family is going into hiding. Right? Right, Chris? An armed
Yeah.
Ritzheimer flanked by burly men wearing F Islam, I believe that's fuck Islam t-shirts, told reporters at the rally. They're calling for lone wolves to behead me. That's terrorism right here in America. Now, that's terrorism right here in America, and here is an armed protester attending a rally outside the Islamic Community Center in Phoenix. They were outside the mosque that the FBI reported that the two gentlemen that tried to shoot up the Garland, Texas, draw the Prophet Muhammad contest.
I am happy to see
where
that
they were.
America is not going to be one of these countries that are going to capitulate to the same, at least with the same speed that Spain did, because I could tell you one thing: if they can't handle and neither can I, by the way, Chris. You don't know me. I'm the single worst example of a Christian who has ever lived. If someone like if people in this country, myself included, again, could not handle the morals of Christianity, how in the hell does ISIS ever think that this country that we live in is going to? It's never going to happen. It's simply never ever going to happen. And the idea that they're going to bring the Sharia law here is a ridiculous notion that a few people are going to do that are already maybe half of 1% of the country might want to do it. And then you're going to have a few trendies that want to do it when it first hit because it's going to be the coolest thing ever. That's going to be about it.
Here's the question. Like, with this guy who goes out and says, like, fuck Islam and all this stuff, and now he has to go into hiding and, like, sell his house. Like, there's really two ways that you can look at this. You can say that, well, no shit, dummy. Like, you shouldn't have done this. You're just being an asshole, and, like, you deserve waiting. Or you can look at it like he ultimately proved the point he was trying to, that, like, you say this, and now you have to fear for your life. But,
right.
I don't know, like, that.
Yeah, I suggested in my report last night that kind of the same thing. There's two ways to look at it. What would make an event like this a success, Kyle? If it was attacked, or if it wasn't attacked? You know what I mean?
Well, exactly.
Could this be positive propaganda to say we're not afraid of you, damn ISIS mother effers?
If they were smart, they would have done what I have seen. Like I went to the Judas Priest concert, and I didn't have a chance to actually talk to this gentleman. But he was trying to insinuate with his big sign that he was picketing the Judas Priest concert, which to me seemed absolutely ridiculous because while the singer is gay, the singer is Christian. So that was even funnier to me. But I had mentioned to him when I was going inside about there being a difference between the way something is perceived in the way that it's meant to be perceived. And we had talked for a moment while I was in line waiting to go in. I think if the peaceful side of Islam, which is the majority, had come out and simply handed out flyers about facts of Islam and not even addressed the people across the street except to say that, we're not terrorists, here's what we really believe. That's what a lot of Christians would have done. I mean, you've got idiots like the Westboro Baptist Church that are terrible. But, if they'd have just handed out tracts like most Christian groups would have done, they would have been able to have made this guy look like asshole of the year. Instead, he's going to go down as a folk hero, and I can see both sides of that. And I think maybe he deserves to go down as both.
Okay.
It makes me a little bit nervous just because look at the way that he's dressed, and he's already like making himself at least be perceived as like hyper militarized. And it's like being hyper-militarized about what could be perceived as hate speech. Like, how are we going to look back on shit like this in, like, 100 years? Like, are we going to look... Is this guy going to be, like, the next fucking Hitler? And this is, like, his exile from society until the war begins? Like, like, this could go in a very bad direction. So it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like hands off.
Right. Hey, Chris, I don't know if you noticed that when I do these live Saturday shows, I like to wear my black Dominator power gloves. And sometimes after the show, like, my hands sort of smell kind of funny from being in these gloves all day. And I was just wondering if, when you do your puppeteering, if your hands ever smell funny afterwards.
Not too much. They kind of smell like foam and glue inside the puppet.
Do you wear a glove inside those puppets? I mean, is it like proctology,
probably
or how does it work?
I don't know. I probably should. I don't know. I guess it depends on how much you sweat. I guess the sweat can kind of.
And,
are there people?
So do you find yourself
people
under?
who try and
Do you find yourself under a lot of desks? No, just kidding.
Are there people in your life who try and dissuade you from puppeteering? Like when they make the documentary, like when they make the dramatic movie about your life in 20 years, is there a person in your life who's like, you're never gonna be a famous puppeteer, Chris? And you're like, I will be the best puppeteer, and you're both, dramatic music.
Well, I'm married, so. And I don't have a day job, so you can kind of guess.
That's wonderful news. So doing the puppets is your job.
Oh yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
I just wish it was bringing in a little more.
And Chris, I was just commenting last night on your page how. Like you're showing pictures of yourself building the puppets and saying, what do you guys think about this? And like, you're like, I got some new ideas, and what do you guys think are good ideas? Here we go. Yeah. Starting on my last personal puppet for a while. I hope to build this summer for clients. These are the big eyes I stole from Elbow.
And you do like work. You did a video for me for Halloween. For my window, where like I do like my window next to my front door, I put like a piece of plastic over it and I put a projector inside the room so it looks like whatever's like being projected is inside the room, and he did some puppet work for me, like puppet zombies and stuff. So you can pay Chris to make you puppet stuff. And it's always cool to be like when somebody's like, oh, I wish, and it's like, I got a puppet guy. Who has a puppet guy? You do.
Who
Anyone watching this,
puppet
you have a puppet guy. How many puppet guys are there out there? Like, when somebody's like, man, I want to make this show with puppets, you can be like, I know someone that can help you with that.
And they look so good that at first I thought you were purchasing them to do them. So you make money from doing the shows and from making the puppets. I'm going to ask a question I think a lot of listeners would like to know. What are some hints to getting started in not necessarily puppet making, but just how to further businesses that are a little bit different, or things that people maybe wouldn't have thought of? What are some hints to get ahead in that?
I don't know, that's what I want to know. But, yeah.
Puppet master implies you know the answers to all these questions, Chris. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I know
what's your secret?
A lot more people make a lot more money than I do at it.
You know what though, Chris? I've known about you for quite some time now, and I'm happy. I'm so excited that you're on the show today. But it's like you have been doing this for a while, and you're like, what's the secret to breaking out? I think like who's your main competition? Sesame Street?
I don't know.
And they're funded by the government with their propaganda, and Michelle Obama's on there. I mean, when was the last time you had
Who are
Michelle
those
Obama on your show?
There's like what's on
guys
YouTube,
see-
like the "Hold Me, I'm Scared" or whatever. You know them?
Yeah. Did you see the video I did in response to the Elmo vaccine video?
I don't think
Was it
so.
with
Did, like,
was
can
it
you
with
pull
the
it up?
reporter guy? I think I maybe did.
No, it's my brown furry Muppet Calvin. I don't know if it was it was right after Elmo put out this video with the Surgeon General talking about how good vaccines were.
I
did
definitely
a
saw that.
video.
Yeah.
Dr. Calvin, and it's got the highest views I have for any video. Usually my videos get around like between 60 and 200 views. This one has like 5,400 and some views.
Yeah, every once in a
so-
while, one just fucking explodes. It's like, what?
Yeah, people took it for rain with it.
What originally got you into them? I mean, obviously, there would be like Sesame Street and the Muppets, but I mean, like maybe Fraggle Rock or any. Because oddly enough, one of the nicknames of my girlfriend is Fraggle. By the way, I call her Fraggle.
What puppets do you look up to?
Yes, what Muppets were we like?
Muppets,
Puppeteers.
puppets.
You say puppeteers or
Puppeteers
Elmo
or
guy.
people like Frank Oz, just anyone that you really liked
Yeah.
that got you into Howdy Doody.
George Lucas.
I grew up watching Sesame Street as a lot of people did, but I like Frank Oz and Jim Henson and I'm not too sure the way Sesame Street's going these days. They seem to be getting a lot of government
Yes.
involvement. lately.
Yeah, they've been getting some I don't know, bad reaction. Here it is. Dr. Calvin shuts down Elmo's pro-vaccine agenda. Nice.
Yeah, let me mute out so that we can watch that.
I'm not set up for sound right now, but everyone can get a visual. There's the title.
Okay.
Everyone look it up on YouTube. Dr. Calvin shuts down Elmo's pro-vaccine agenda. I'm already subscribed. Chris, where can everyone find you on YouTube?
What is it? Like you
Can
know, it's
Newsroom. Can Newsroom.
Yeah.
I like how the graphic Dr. Calvin show looks like the Dr. Phil show. And your buddy helps you out with the blue screen back there?
I did it all. I did everything in
Nice.
this video
There you
myself.
go.
Yeah.
That's what Kyle wanted to know.
That's it.
Hey, Kyle, you know that Chris uses blue screen and not green screen? He uses blue screen.
You use blue screen.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
That's
no,
a-
that totally makes sense because all your shit's green.
Yeah, so it would turn invisible, right?
Yeah, no, at first I was offended, but it's like, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes
I do
perfect
blue
sense.
and green. Yeah. Depends on what color the puppet is I'm using.
Yeah,
If
because
it's a
like
blue
puppets
puppet,
are much
blue.
more like primary colors,
Yeah.
so it's got to make it a little tough.
Well, I notice it too. Sometimes when I'm looking a little green, I can't get behind me to look right at all.
We'll say,
Guys, did I already mention that Paul McCartney says he has given up marijuana after many years of indulgence and now prefers wine or, quote, a nice margarita. The former Beatle
I saw
told the
that.
Daily Mirror he doesn't want to set a bad example for his children or grandchildren by using marijuana. He said Saturday his decision is a parent thing, or I guess a grandparent thing. He says, quote, the last time I smoked was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. McCartney had been a longtime marijuana user who spent 10 whole nights in jail after he was arrested trying to enter Japan, the large quantity of the drug in 1980. Well, that was Japan, and he's Paul McCartney, a Beatle back then in 1980. And the 72-year-old British rock star Paul McCartney is fit. and has long advocated a vegetarian lifestyle. Kyle, he continues to perform for adoring crowds worldwide.
I
Kyle,
don't believe that it's the real Paul McCartney, and never have.
Yeah.
The last will and testament of George Harrison.
So you're saying that this is a fake Paul McCartney giving up on marijuana?
I
And
do. I
just
think
enjoying a nice margarita?
He had a
grave.
beard in the 80s, D-Lake, to cover up the plastic surgery. Didn't you know that? He was killed after him and John Lennon got in a fight at the recording studio. He stormed off and he drove away on a stormy night, and he saw a girl walking alone in the rain, and so he decided to give her a ride. When she realized it was Paul McCartney, she freaked out and grabbed the steering wheel and took him off a bridge. MI6 got involved because they were worried about mass suicides. They took a guy who had won a Paul McCartney look-alike contest months earlier. They trained him to play guitar left-handed, and they gave him plastic surgery. You don't know all this?
That's
Paul
the
McCartney play a guitar left-handed?
I've never seen quite that assessment before, but that was interesting.
There's a whole documentary about it that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm not saying I believe all that, by the way. It's just like documentaries like that are fun.
No, I think Chris does.
Someone that looked
Chris,
like him, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't. But yeah, whoever that one was.
Chris, do you think that this is
Interesting.
Chris, do you think this is the real Beatle Paul McCartney saying that he's giving up on marijuana? He's giving up on marijuana, but he's like, but I still need something,
Yeah.
like a glass of wine or a nice margarita.
My buddy Tim put it
Right.
best one day. My buddy Tim said, like,
Margarita,
it's hilarious
yeah.
how, like, you could walk into work on, like, Monday morning and be like, oh, man, I got so fucking drunk this weekend. I woke up in my own piss in somebody else's apartment. I don't even know how I got there. Man, it was crazy. Everybody's like, oh, man, rough weekend. Ah. But you walk in and you're like, oh, I watched a documentary about space and I smoked a few hitters. And they're like getting the ball. You're fired. You're fired. You can't smoke weed on your own time. You can get drunk and piss yourself. That's fine. But smoke a little weed and watch some Michio Kaku, and we got a big fucking problem here.
Hey, let me throw out one last story before we go to Sam's science. Do you have science today, Sam?
Yes, I can do science, and actually, I'm going to go with the science of marijuana. As I said, though, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my friend Buddy Puff, who we haven't seen since April Fool's Day, to do the DEA report. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, get set up for that. We'll launch into that. I had one last story that I wanted to throw out, and now I just forgot what it was.
Dude, I'm kind of disappointed, Chris, that you didn't come on as like a puppet. You should have a puppet of yourself that when you do podcasts and
Yeah, can you
you
go
should
grab
just
that
be
real quick,
your
Chris?
puppet. Do you have a special chair? Like when people come into your office, it's like your chair is just like kind of like one of those rolling things that you used to get under a car to change the oil. Like, yeah. What do you have?
I have no office.
Everything's oriented for being on the floor underneath the puppet.
Nah, I got like a spare bedroom set up where I do my video stuff, but yeah, I just
Yeah, I got an
work out of my
office.
house.
Yeah, our house has
Hang on,
2
I'm gonna
bedrooms
grab
and an
my-
office.
I'm gonna go grab my puppet.
Oh shit, shit's gonna get puppety in this
That
place
sounded
real quick, dude.
Grab that puppet. Grab that puppet.
Dude, I want to make a puppet. I've been looking at it for a while.
We're gonna edit it out so it's
Hey,
just like,
like-
here comes the puppet.
Like while he's setting that up, I finally got a chance to like get back on the show again, which
Oh,
is
he's back.
kind of cool. Like doing the science front. I gotta say, D, like I don't really like the microphone because it's like gets in the way of the joint, man.
I like it, buddy. You should change your lower third, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, he's
Who is
just
this?
bringing me in as a guest because I think it was a dumb idea, but all right. This is from John Vibes of the Free Thought Project. New DEA chief retreats on war on drugs against weed. Says DEA will no longer focus on marijuana. He retreated like the Indians should have back in the day. There were arrows flying around and stuff. I think I got sidetracked. I was watching. It was cool. I thought it was interesting. The science of weed now is making it so that like even the DEA, like they ain't out there nothing bothering like the potheads anymore. With states all across the country lowering their penalties in marijuana cases, the incoming DEA chief says that the agency will like no longer focus on marijuana. Chuck Rosenberg, that'd be like the former administrator dude of the FBI, claimed that instead of attacking marijuana users and sellers, he wants to improve the DEA's procedures on classifying. In other words, they can keep going after you for other drugs, but they won't be able to go after you for weed because weed's not going to be like a drug anymore. I guess they're going to make it a fruit. And that's the way I think they're going. And that's what do you think? Today's news from the science front. I'm like Buddy Puff, reporting for the Media Views place. Nice meeting you, Chris Chappell, man. I gotta go smoke because this mic's like in the way. Like, it fucks me all up, man. Happy day. I guess it's not like a holiday. I'll see you guys.
Wow.
Chris, do you have some sort of effect on your webcam?
No.
Did you do like some sort of like mirroring effect?
No.
I'm seeing you twice.
Yeah. But yeah.
Uh,
did
How long
this
did that
when I
take
had
you to
long
make?
hair.
I mean,
Uh,
you're a puppeteer. Are you a ventriloquist also? I mean, I see your mouth moving.
no. No. I don't know. Maybe I can. Hey, let's see. Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, that's pretty good. Not gonna lie, that was pretty good. I wish I could make a fucking puppet.
And,
How long did that take you to make?
That's like a puppet of you.
That's
When you
actually
have long
really
hair.
good ventriloquism. If you can do that, like, that's not bad. That's awesome.
That's what I'm saying, but it's
These
easier
are
to be like underneath on the blue screen and stuff. But can we hear a little bit from that guy?
From him?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, this is. Hey guys, how's it going? Chris Chappell here. Wow.
It's awesome.
It's Chris, but it's Chris and Chris. The Chris and Chris show.
I build him before I shave my head. So, yeah.
And he's got like way more arm movement and stuff too. I see you doing that. Hey.
That is really cool. So you
Wait,
don't need
Chris,
the strings. You don't need the strings on yours that are always in the right way of the old ones.
Yeah, got a rod, a metal rod.
Oh, all right. It is. Yeah. Okay. You couldn't. Yeah. You do that. Yeah. You couldn't even see it.
And now we can CGI that out of the picture and stuff too. And we talked earlier before the show about Rick Baker, famous master of special effects in Hollywood. He's retiring, and I just saw a thing about it the other day that the primary reason is because he's in his 60s, and it's just like the CGI world is just totally taking over. Right, Chris? And I mean, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah. I think it sucks that I've never tried to do CGI. I don't know how hard it is to learn and do, but it always seemed a kind of a lazy way of doing things to me. I don't know. I'm sure it saves a lot of time making a movie, but
I'm sure some guy sitting at his computer for 50 fucking hours isn't thinking it's lazy, but
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of Hollywood movie making, you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Have
them,
you made
I
a whole
mean,
movie
having
with your puppets yet?
Say what?
I probably should. Have you made a whole movie with your puppets yet?
No, not yet.
Oh, there you
Because
go.
that would be really sweet. That would be really cool.
Yeah, and if you need to incorporate any humans or extra voices, I'm sure Buddy Puff, Sam, Kyle, probably D. Lake Perez, they'd all be willing to help out.
In a second. Oh yeah, that'd be great. In a second.
I want to do something with animation and puppets.
I also have a degree in IMT, and I had to take like video work. And we, the four of us, there's one not with us anymore because of his job. We actually produced what is a very enjoyable to watch movie So yeah, if you ever need camera works or crews, you've got 3 people here that would love to help you, and I'm sure we could pull Anthony Cord out for an appearance.
In the year
Chris Ducker
1776.
could come too. That would be. Hey, I've got my own Fraggle. I can bring my own Fraggle.
I need you to make puppet versions of all of us, Chris.
All right. I know.
And Chris, I just saw you showing off. I just saw you showing off the
Yeah.
pre-made
The one I'm working.
puppet like this one in this picture. Let's see that again. So I mean, that could turn into pretty much anything, right? I mean,
Yeah, I've ordered the fleece for him. He's gonna be green, but kind of a more, I guess, a little darker than Kermit the Frog. Kind of a
Yeah, I mean,
mossy-
so Kyle was asking you if you sort of bring that thing into Michael's or wherever you shop. I mean, have you met any attractive young ladies with those puppets? I mean, I think you might. I mean,
I don't know, not really.
oh yeah. Have you scored any weed from those puppets?
How would they come up to him? Like, are those puppets fully functional? Like, what the get away from me, lady? Like, what are you asking? Are they into him or the puppet? I'm confused.
No, they've got nothing below the waist.
Ah!
No!
Just like Al Gore.
And
They're making a new Fraggle Rock movie.
oh, they're making a new Fraggle Rock movie. I was just
they
thinking about
really?
the movie Ex Machina. I mean, do you have any desire to delve into like robotics and animatronics and or make the perfect foam Muppet female? I mean,
Terminator.
do you find Miss Piggy
They're not
attractive?
going to use. Wait. They're not going to use computer Fraggles, are they? Tell me we're going to have real Fraggles.
Oh, what if like a movie like Ex Machina, where it's just like instead of like a CGI like kind of sexy robot, it's a fucking like full Muppet style like cloth puppet, and the dude's all into it.
Yeah. I mean,
Furry party.
Do you
I'm
think
not
that-
saying anything. I'm not saying the movie. Anything about the movie. Oh wait,
Chris,
there's
have you ever thought about like diving into other areas of puppetry, like making sexy women that men will fall in love with? That's pretty much what you ask.
No.
Oh, you really should delve into that. Your puppets there needs to be a love story going on. With
Yeah, you need sexy puppets.
I mean,
I do have female puppets.
but just if we could pretend we were all in the board meeting with Jim Henson's Muppets, and they said, okay, Kermit the Frog's love interest is going to be Miss Piggy. I mean, like we're sort of brainstorming here. Chris, do you think that would be a good idea? Miss Piggy would have a character that's like a pig and a frog. I think it'll work.
It'd be even funnier if he made the frog really fat and the pig really thin.
Yeah.
You could probably make a lot of money.
The pig is really thin. Her name is Ms. Bacon.
Yeah, and she doesn't like weed, and he promotes weed, and he's like real fat.
I think they got a new pig puppet in the Muppet Show that's coming coming out this. I think it comes out this fall, NBC.
Yeah.
And
I think it's NBC. Yeah, I was trying to remember earlier, but yeah.
They got a new female pig puppet that Kermitson likes. You can see it on the trailer they released. He said, "What can I say? I like pigs." And shows the other pig. Crazy.
This is going to be very inappropriate, but it's all right. We're like 45 minutes into the show. We lose most viewers by then.
You know who I really like is the American Eagle on what's his name on the Muppets.
If you made a Kermit,
Sam.
Sam.
If you made a Kermit and a Piggy and made like Muppet porn, you would make a lot of money. I'm sure there's people out there who want Muppet porn.
Kyle, you are really the one who wants Muppet porn. I know this.
I'd watch the preview. I want to buy a membership, but
I typed in most fucked up documentary, and I ended up with a Vice special on donkey sex. Why is it always Vice that comes up?
Vice always has the best shit.
It was a
Vice is just the
15-minute
best
documentary on the donkey screwing in Colombia.
That's the kind of stuff Vice does, man.
I
What are you
like
looking
Vice,
at?
but sometimes I think they just have too much freedom. Like, I don't know, it's weird. I'm looking at Sam the Eagle. This is like one of my favorite Muppets right here.
I forgot about him. I love him.
I love this guy.
Them.
I mean, everyone's like, I like the
Another
two
one of
old
Frank Oz.
guys. Everyone likes the two old guys up in the, what are their names?
Yeah.
Thurgood?
Another
What?
one of Frank Oz's characters.
Yeah,
Frank
Thurgood.
Oz was the man.
Yeah,
Like,
Frank Oz was the man.
I just watched
even though we
the
come to the show every week.
I just watched the I Am Big Bird documentary they did on Carol Spinney and you know how he's still working. He's like 80 years old and still doing Big Bird and Oscar. That was pretty good.
What?
It's called I Am Big
yeah.
Bird. You can watch it on iTunes.
Did they cover where Snuffleupagus might be?
Nah, they never really said. They showed him, but never really talked about him much.
That's ridiculous. He's Snuffleupagus.
He was
That's
one
like
of the
our
main.
best friend.
we waited for him.
I heard one of
There
like
he
the
is.
main voice actors from The Simpsons is leaving. What's that? Oh, Snuffleupagus.
Oh, that is awesome.
There's Big Bird.
Hi. Got any bird seed?
That is so cool.
I never really watched Sesame Street when I was little. I watched it a little bit, but
I was
Yeah.
addicted.
watched it a very little amount. I remember. I
I was a
remember
little
Ellen
kid,
being
I was
on there.
addicted. I had all the characters. I had this little radio that had the figures on top of it. I had everything.
I got old.
I played. I still have all these years later. I think there's still toys too in my parents' attic. We're gonna have to go through that one day, but I guarantee they're up there.
Yeah. I mean, pretty cool.
Old Sesame Street toys. All right, we should get into some entertainment.
Yes, indeed. Let me call up my links on this one. I have
Before we go to entertainment too, Chris, where can people find you? If people wanted to buy your puppeteering,
My
give you money to
website.
puppet.
Yeah, I've got a free website through Weebly right now. It's just chappellpuppets.weebly.com, and you can find Chappell Puppets on Facebook. Yeah.
Chappell Puppets. Find them. If you're out there and you're like, I need puppets. But yeah, done. Just go there. You'll find him. He's done puppets for me. Did a good job. Made a zombie and stuff. Nice background to freak out little kids on Halloween. Did well. I had people coming by like, what do you got going on here? And I was like, yeah, I'm the awesome guy on the street who gives big candy bars. I was.
Hey, strangers have the best candy. Everyone knows
I
it.
did.
Strangers
So
and
what's
fans
everybody
like
been watching?
That's a very good question. Chris, have you seen any good movies recently?
Last thing I saw was Age of Ultron, The Avengers.
Somehow I knew you were going to say that.
That's
The last movie
thing I
everybody
in
saw.
theaters. Yeah, I've been watching
We talked
a lot
about it.
of
It was all right.
documentaries. Yeah. I watched the Daredevil show. Was awesome.
Yeah, the
Way better
Daredevil
than
show
that.
is pretty dope. I gotta
Yeah.
pick back up. I watched maybe 5 or 6 episodes. I gotta get back into it. I'm watching Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, I mean,
Did
I've
that.
honestly,
I'm the only
I've
person
honestly-
alive that never liked that show. I'm sure of it.
It's on
I've
Netflix.
honestly
have,
been struggling for something good to watch, and I haven't been reduced to the level of watching Saved by the Bell reruns or anything like that. But Kyle, you have been.
Yeah, I'm all right because I'm Saved by the Bell.
You are Saved by
See,
the Bell.
I don't. I guess that's
I
better
even
than
watched.
that's better than donkey documentaries with Vice.
I even
must say,
watched
I've been
some.
watching-
I found some bootleg copies of the College Years. Even you ever watch the College Years? Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, there's. We're
I
like
do know that
Zach and
Screech
Sandra
became
going
a
to
very
college.
weird person.
He did a porno, right?
Yeah, he
Fucking
Dirty Sancho'd some girl, and she's like smiling through it. Like, what is
Dustin
wrong with you
Diamond.
people?
Dustin
Yeah,
Diamond.
he's
Yeah. Well,
weird.
kind of made a
What the hell are you guys talking about?
Screech became
Diamond.
a
Screech, he did a
weird,
porn.
nasty, weird person.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went on
Screech.
Macaulay
It's-
Culkin.
The skinny dude with
As
the
far as
curly
I'm-
hair? Screech.
Yeah.
I like that guy.
Yeah.
I do have some. D-Lake might find this interesting. D-Lake and I have talked on this show a couple of times about the PMRC. And for those of you who don't know, they were interested in limiting the progress of music, who could own it, what it could say, how old you had to be, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the interesting things is, as far as rock is concerned, although it did happen with big band stuff prior, the first time it really started happening with rock was, in a huge degree, Jake Eli, the guy that wrote Louie Louie, died at 71 back end of April. I wanted to get to this like a month ago and didn't. I ended up getting sidetracked, but for good reasons. Jack Eli, singer of the Kingsmen, was best known for the 60s hit Louie Louie, died at 71. This is from bbcnews.com. His son Eli said the musician died at home in Redmond, Oregon after a long battle with illness. And because of religious beliefs, we're not sure what the illness was. Eli's incoherent song, Louie Louie, led the FBI to investigate the famous track on the grounds that it might be obscene. The law enforcement agents included in a lengthy investigative report that the song was unintelligible at any speed. And basically the government got involved in what this song was saying when he was with the Kingsmen, because he was breaking what they were calling obscenity laws, and he was one of the first people in rock and roll that really wasn't saying anything bad in it. It's been deciphered by other people later, but he refused to let the government persuade him not to do the song or to otherwise push him out from doing the song. He was one of the first rebels, so to speak. So that's my entertainment spot. I had
How does this song go? That they like? Is there parts
Louie,
that sound
Louie.
like?
Oh, that song.
That's the song I was like, is that the song Louie Louie?
Yeah, that song.
Oh. It's like, what did he say? He's saying Louie Louie. I mean,
They really
but
were that interested.
the PMRC definitely at the time in the early 80s was extending to rap music and you know, lyrics
Steve
coming
Snyder,
out of, like
Mr.
South Central, Compton, Los Angeles, like NWA and stuff like that, and like Ice-T
Zappa.
had a track called Freedom of Speech, Just Watch What You Say, where he's like, the PMRC and typical motherfucking fuck that shit, you know, like.
See, I wonder, like, everybody watches Law and Order, right? Everybody does. Like, do you ever watch Law and Order? And there's 2 different episodes. I'm thinking of specifically. There's one where there's like a Mexican band who like does songs where like translated it's about like kidnapping and raping bitches, and like it's like what? And then they find out that women are getting kidnapped and raped, and they think it's this band and blah blah blah. And then there's like another episode about a comedian who does rape jokes who turns out to be a rapist. It's like they always seem to take like the worst case scenario for why like that stuff is okay, like censorship and stuff.
Look,
it's like no,
I mean,
never had like.
If you killed a cop, you're not gonna make a song called "I Killed a Cop." Like,
No, you're
I
gonna
don't
do that
think
if you haven't killed the cop.
so, like,
Generally.
basically, those people that are making songs like 187 on the motherfucking cops. It's like, thank you for inciting gang wars in fucking Baltimore. Anyways, yeah, there's Jack Eli right there, Louie Louie.
Yeah, I figured I'd make our entertainment section sending off one of the supporters of free speech there, which is funny because he didn't set out to be one. He just wrote a song.
It's just like,
but
what? Why do you
created
care
a
about this?
firestorm.
It's crazy.
What? No, you can't censor my song because you can't understand me. Like what? Just because you can't understand me, it might be bad.
It's the Cannibal
Might be.
Corpse law.
Could be.
Gotta censor Joe Cocker.
Fucking Joe Cocker. Did you I did a video like a long time ago where I made a joke about like Joe Cocker singing versus Joe Cocker talking. Like if you ever watch videos of him, he comes out as I think he's British. Hello everybody, I'm Joe Cocker. this is a song called "Little Help from My Friends," and then they start playing, and he's like, he like starts moving around all fucking weird. He gets possessed by a demon when the music starts.
It's Charlie. Have you
I
guys
love
seen
him
the
though. I love Joe Cocker.
Charlie thing going around schools with the kids?
No.
Take a piece of paper, put the two pencils on it, and you say like Charlie
Oh,
there,
God,
and
yeah, I
like the
have.
pencil moves, they freak out.
Oh man.
I saw
Last-
hilarious when these Mexican dudes
Last night I got
they
on.
took
Last
two
night,
guitars.
I did see that.
It was
That's
hilarious.
crazy.
yeah. That's crazy. Cause last night, like Chris, this probably happens to you. You get on just like a weird YouTube binge, like, or you just start surfing down some sort of YouTube stream, and next thing you know, you just watch like 10 videos all about such and such. And yeah, last night I was caught up with Thug Life compilations. You ever seen the
Oh
Thug
yeah.
Life videos?
Yes. Yes.
Hell yeah.
Like the Vine compilations and the Thug Life
What are you,
compilations.
6 inches deep in your mom? Like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was great. Like I saw that one just last night. Yeah, I think I've seen it before, but like
You,
yeah, there were so
Get
many
your
good
phone
ones.
out of my
Just
face.
so many good ones. Like that's fun
YouTube
to do that.
they've attempted excuse me, they've attempted to cover copy Pandora's ability to be able to give you things that are like what you're already listening to. But what's funny about it is their algorithm is all messed up. Chris, a couple weeks ago I went to see Judas Priest, and about 4 weeks ago I went to see Exodus and Testament. YouTube is still sending me Exodus and Testament because I was showing my girlfriend before we went just some things that I was hoping the bands would play or whatever, and she didn't know Exodus that much. So YouTube, and I love them a lot, but YouTube has decided that the only band I want to listen to for the rest of my life is Exodus. It's like, my God. So yeah, I know what D-Like means. You watch one
It's in
thing.
your keywords. It's high up there in your algorithm, bro. I mean, they
Don't
think
But that was a long time ago. And I don't know how they do it, but it's still.
Be careful, and I recommend everybody keep like a second YouTube alias for searching when you. It's like because all that shit will show up. Like you'll be like, oh, let me show you this YouTube video, and like it shows you related shit to everything you've searched for, and you don't want like to be showing like your girlfriend or your mom some video on YouTube, and in like recommended is like down blouse. You don't want that. It'll be bad.
you definitely want to have two YouTubes, a public and a private.
I have a problem with that
I
at
have
work.
like 3, so I'm good.
Wet T-shirt. What are you looking up, D-Like? Why is
Yeah,
it
no,
recommending wet
I'm
T-shirt
like,
for you?
look, this is like, you know what's even better is just to have a generic YouTube. So like all the favorites are just the most mainstream media propagated favorites of like all of YouTube. But because that's actually
Then you have
good
one
in
through
helping you
tour.
that's actually good in helping you stay more closely related to the overall mainstream of YouTube as opposed to your specific wet T-shirt contest search history.
I have kind of
Kyle?
I have a story, D-Like, you'll appreciate that's right along those lines.
Yeah,
I
people
use
sit next to Chris and they see him log into YouTube. They're like, "Man, you really like puppets and Muppets." Sam, sorry, go ahead.
I watch a lot of World War II documentaries, and I had my splash screen up on YouTube at
It's a
work.
Nazi this and Nazi
And-
that.
Yeah,
World
and one
War
of my
II
friends,
bomb
a really nice black girl, came to sign in at work, and she looks at my screen, and it's Hitler with his arm out. You got Himmler in front of him, and there's this superimposed Nazi symbol over. That's the thumbnail for the documentary. And I'm like, oh no, I watch a lot of documentaries. I'm like, that's not like pro-Nazi memorabilia. And she looks at it and she's like, oh yeah, that's this history stuff. But at first it like caught her eye. Yeah, you end up with stuff on YouTube and you're like, that's really not what you think it is.
Sammy's watching some crazy shit over there.
Well, hey
Sammy
Sam,
boy.
After the
That's
donkey
my
thing, I'm
impression of her.
doomed. I'm telling you, I'm doomed.
Sammy, you really liked the video that I did where I was talking about ISIS destroying all that artwork. And I mean, I'm sure Chris, someone that builds artwork, would be just as disturbed as me to see someone wrecking like his artwork or his 1,500-year-old artwork. But I got a comment which turned into like a thread, a series of comments with some dude named like Ahmed. I think maybe he's Saudi Arabian. All his messages come to me in squiggly talk or whatever. Maybe it's Arabic. And I just hit translate on Google, sort of get a broken up version of what it was that he said. I comment something back, figure he's probably hitting translate. I'm like, what does my English look like when you turn it into squiggly talk? I want to know. I want to see what that looks like. But apparently he reads it and he comments me back, and just the past few days we've been having a conversation where he's trying to tell me, I think he's trying to tell me, it's hard, there's a little communication barrier,
awesome.
but I think that he's saying that that didn't really happen, the video was fake, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get to the truth, and then like, but when I typed in like, look, I just want to get to the bottom of this and get the truth, you know, or something like that, and then it translates to him like, I wish to be a part of ISIS, like, so I mean, I get a bunch of ISIS shit on my fucking, just like you guys are like. Sam with the Nazis, and Chris with the puppets, and Kyle with the wet bras. Like, someone sitting next to me, they're like, dude, like, it looks like you want to join ISIS. I'm like, no, I'm just investigating, dude. Someone's got to report on this shit, because in America, I mean, basically I was thinking about this the other day. My opinion of ISIS is essentially formulated by just all the news I receive. And so much of the news that I receive, I have to block and say, okay, that doesn't seem real, or that's fake, or this is incendiary, or this is propaganda, you know. But what do I really think is happening? I think they're driving brand new Toyota trucks through fucking Syria, killing motherfuckers. But I could be wrong. And we don't bomb them.
Do you ever get down like we were talking about like the YouTube wormhole?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're watching like detailed videos. Like I had it happen to me once with like Holocaust denial videos, where I just like went down a wormhole, like these dudes who put together these really bad videos denying the Holocaust. And like you think you're like, all right, I'm watching this to see like what could this dude possibly have to say. But later on, like a very nice black girl who works with you is going to be walking by in the background and be like, Sammy, why are you looking up Holocaust denial?
Things like, and I noticed when I first used the internet, back when before we had the Hangout, now you would get in chat rooms, and I had a guy, his name was Saturn Mars, that sent me this thing telling me how this was around 99, 2000. He was telling me that there was no peace in the Middle East and this and that, and he goes, you can find facts here. And I didn't really know at the time. Looking back, do you know who I was reading? Hamas.
Who?
He sent me a link to freaking Hamas. And I mean, this was only a year and a half or so before the 9/11. So it's like, you know, who knows what you have on your computer? And that's one of the reasons that spying is such a disaster. Because you read something, you have no idea why someone read something. It might be because someone sent them a link.
Sammy, what you doing reading all that terrorist stuff?
The terrorist.
Terrorist. Hey everybody, I'm D-Lake for Prez. We are themediaspeaks.com. Sam Ibd Kyle Phillips, Anthony Court, who's not here today, but he's been doing a great job posting awesome stuff on our Facebook. Our very special guest, Chris Chappell. Chris, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, you had a lot of awesome, cool stuff to say. And everyone, please check out the Green Report. And also, what is it, the Can Network, or Can News Network, CAN on YouTube, where you can find him. And Jim Henson doesn't have anything on this guy.
Yeah, fuck Jim Henson. Jim Henson's a pussy.
His days are over.
Okay, if you're still watching Jim Henson shit, like, yeah.
No,
okay.
I like Jim Henson.
Still, yeah.
But Chris
still
is the new
listening to vinyls.
Chris is the new Chris. Chris is the new Henson. Yes, indeed. I think poor Henson died.
Someone get this guy. Get this guy and Rick Baker to advise.
Henson's the old shitty version of Chris.
Get Chris Chappell on the new Fraggle Rock so that Sam will be happy with the outcome. I mean, I'm surprised Disney hasn't called you yet, guy. I mean, come on. What are they doing? They're lazy.
It's crazy.
I don't know, but I'm glad we had you on our show, which is awesome. And Kyle, where can everyone find us? The internet?
The internet. Yeah. Go on the internet, type in the Media Speaks on Facebook, Twitter, Google. If you can't find us, I don't know how you found this show.
I think we need to get
The
an
Media
Instagram, though.
Speaks.
Yeah.
No Instagram. We don't have one of those yet. We don't have
Harrison, in your spare time, can you set
Periscope
us up a,
channel. Sam, get us on Periscope.
Well, D-Lake, and Kyle,
Oh, I
and
want
Chris, you
Periscope, yeah.
you can find me on Tumblr, but you won't find me on Tumblr because I, in fact, am sure that I am the only human being who is on Tumblr. If anybody besides me would like to use Tumblr, if you join, one person joins, we can increase the number of people on Tumblr by 100%. It's
Yeah,
true.
if you go to
You can also find me at
tumblr.com.
youtube.com/thecorrectviews, and oddly enough, I get a little bit of traffic from Planet Infowars. You can find me there. Guess what? I named it The Correct Views.
Guys, we should start using Google Plus a little bit. I know it's stupid, but I was looking today, and it claims that we have like over 100,000, or almost 100,000 clicks on our Google Plus page that we don't use ever.
Oh, well,
Ever.
we really should pump that up. And thank you, everyone, for watching and listening if you're doing this on the podcast or whatever. But
Look up
great show.
Holocaust Denial on YouTube.
Great show. We talked about that guy doing the Islamic protest. And we talked about pot and puppets and politics, just like the title said. So I think we did a good job.
Yeah, and
Loué.
Oh yeah, who do you think's gonna? Who do you think? Who do you want for president in 2016, Chris? Before we go.
Oh. I'm leaning towards Rand Paul, but I don't know.
Yeah, he's been making some comments lately. But what about Hillary Clinton versus Carly Fiorina? Do you want to see a female battle? Will be a bunch
I
of
want to see
lashing.
Hillary
Will there be a
go
lot of tongue
away.
All right. Go on the
don't wanna see
internet,
more
type in Chris
Hillary.
Chappell, type in D-Lake for Prez, the correct views. The Media Speaks on your internet devices, and then click stuff that comes up, and that is how you use the internet. I am Kyle Phillips from The Media Speaks. Am I going to end broadcast? Do you know? I'm just holding everybody on the edge. It's okay. All right. Goodbye,
Pour
everyone.
juice